Ha ha, hee hee, ho ho. These are all things that are considered laughs. And you know what laughs are?
What?
Funny. And
Wow.
that's today's topic, everybody. Welcome to Various Fields. I'm Lex.
You nailed that opening. Good job. My name is Trey. How you doing?
Let's do it again. Cut. Because
No, I kind of liked it.
You like it? You like it? You like
That was
it? Okay,
pretty
I'll tell you
funny.
what. We'll keep that with the comedy.
That was part of the fun. That was, I
just didn't want
expecting it.
You know what it was? I just didn't want to step on our names. And that's it. But it's okay.
I mean, if
That's
you
okay. No. It's fine. Let's keep it going. Because now you're here. It's live. It's true.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm Hazen Fields II.
I'm Hayesville Fields III,
And I'm Lex once again. And that what we call improv.
Improv.
And
indeed.
improv is hilarious.
Yes, it is.
I'm starting off with this much energy because last week was Father's Day, and I watched The Court Jester with my pops.
no, right?
Yes,
And it's very fun. It's very Bugs Bunny. It's very Spider-Man. Spider-Man's different. It's just these are things people are funny, but like very Looney Tunes, very what's the word? Monty Python a bit to me.
Yeah.
But I realized that I don't know. Funny is very much in our blood in a certain way, but a very specific kind of brand of funny to me.
Okay.
So we have
Slapstick.
slapstick maybe, but we've adopted it from our pops. And I feel like the Court Jester movie
Yeah.
is very much indicative of our kind of brand of humor a little bit that we've picked up. So, Dad, I wanted to give us a little, I don't know, how would you describe the humor that you've instilled into your sons?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if I don't know if I had a brand of humor that I instilled. But everything that I enjoyed, I couldn't wait to share with you. You guys, the moment of consciousness for a father to have with their sons, because when you guys are first born, I mean, no offense to either one of you, you really don't know much.
Hey,
It's like when you're little, and I try to show you a Bugs Bunny episode or something, and and there's nuanced jokes inside, and you guys just looking at the colors, and I say, oh, they don't get it.
There's a variety of depth when you're getting smacked with a mallet. So I understand that entirely.
No, Bugs Bunny have more than that.
My 8-month self takes offense to that.
Yeah, well, I apologize, but there's a moment of truth when I see real laughter coming from my sons from an episode of a cartoon or something I enjoyed, and they get it. It's like they get it. So, so I just introduced you to the stuff I enjoyed, and Bugs Bunny and The Court Jester is one of my favorite. Now, those who may not know of The Court Jester, The Court Jester is an older film, I think probably produced in the 50s sometime, with a gentleman who's no longer with us by the name of Danny Kaye. Now, Danny Kaye was a very talented singer, hoofer, and actor, but he was just a talented guy. So so we had fun watching it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was just like when I was watching it. And again, everyone who gets a chance to watch The Court Jester, give it a shot. I think we actually caught it on YouTube, where you can find us Various Fields, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
But I think we found it on YouTube, and I realized I don't think that kind of brand of humor is out there as much anymore. I guess, would you call it slapstick? I watched it more recently. Do you remember The Court Jester?
I don't remember The Court Jester as well as you do, unfortunately.
I did just watch it.
I mean, I remember the brand of humor that we're kind of used to. Like, we used to we used to watch a great deal of Mel Brooks and what have you. Like you said, the Holy Grail and everything like that. I don't know. I think all that kind of humor kind of comes from also kind of like originating from like a little bit of Abbott and Costello bits. A little bit of the Three Stooges, a little vaudevillian, a little bit.
It is vaudeville. I would say it's definitely theatrical.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like all the overdone. I don't know. I enjoy it a lot.
Absolutely. That being said, anyone that's out there, please, why don't you comment on some of your favorite comedy films, things that make you chuckle, or what my father would say, make you get tickled. You get that laugh that you just can't control it. Some of those things are like some of the best laughs in the world. Yeah. So
I think a follow-up is, this might be a hard question, but what are funny things you guys find funny? And by that I mean not just like someone tells a good joke, but something that you think in particular, like for some reason, it just kind of gets you, Like, this is going to sound dumb, but like for me, this might not be the best thing, so I have to sometimes hide my laughter. But people who are very prideful, But like sometimes, but like people, and I don't mean like it's bad to have pride, but
Right.
people who are like cocky to a certain degree, or like something like that, or just,
Right.
or I don't know, maybe people who like give off a very privileged or just like sometimes not down to earth.
Right.
I find it absolutely hilarious. And
Really?
to a certain degree, because I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just I don't relate, because maybe I don't relate to the energy as much, but it's just funny sometimes to see someone, especially if they don't read the room right, but just, to someone to just be like, haha, I'm the best there ever was. And I was
Right.
like, all right, yeah, okay.
Right.
I don't know why. And then just to continue on with the energy.
Yeah.
Another thing that sometimes gets me into trouble, I find people who, and this is rough, but people who get angry too quickly. Or it's, depending on how someone gets angry too quickly, I also find kind of funny.
Wow.
I try my best not to laugh, but it is.
Wow. You make me nervous because I don't want you to be at a public location and make someone get upset with you.
Oh, you have to be anxious about it. It'll happen. It's happened already. So.
Oh, God.
You don't have to fear. No. But like, here's the thing. I remember I was working at an ice cream shop, and there's someone who came in, and they were furious because they got ice cream. We made ice cream cakes at the time, and then I guess they had wanted sprinkles on their ice cream cake, and then we didn't have sprinkles on ice cream cake. And I'm not a part of the cake making process, but they had come back, and because I guess they got delivered or opened it up, and they said, we don't have any Jimmys. And I'm like, I forgot that Jimmys were sprinkles. So at first I'm like, he doesn't work here. But like, but I remember them being like very upset. I mean, like red in the face about how they don't have sprinkles on their ice cream cake. I'm like, if that's your biggest problem, you're living life well. And I wanted, like, I did help. I talked to people. I got the thing, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a funny thing to be upset about.
Yeah,
It's not funny.
Right. Well, I kind of get you in some respects. You might have heard me mention. We might have talked about favorite movies. One of my favorite movies in the world is the old Charlton Heston 10 Commandments, and one reason why I love it is because the direction is so deliberate and so corny and so like just done. There's scenes where you can almost hear the director telling the actor, look left, look right, look up, look down, and look far off. And it's hilarious to me because I was a big fan of a show called the Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that show, it itself was an improv show where these guys would sit down and watch a movie. And it definitely takes a brand of humor because a lot of people didn't like it because of they felt that it was intrusive or it bothered them. But if you remember the show, it used to have three human beings or two robots and one human being. You would see their silhouette, and they would talk about the things that's happening on the screen, and they would always pick like 1950s B style movies, and it was hilarious.
It's absolutely
that's
great.
when it was really great. So if you get a chance, that's something to watch too.
I think that's where most of my humor comes from too. Just kind of like critiques and ironic comments when it comes down to things. Because I know. I'm very. When it comes down to like someone, there was one point in time someone said to me in a store that I used to work at that they never assume anything. All right. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I understand. So you're very, very thorough and I respect that. And a few weeks later, they came back to me and just like, I assumed that you did this, that, and the third. I was like, I thought you never assumed anything. Right. And I just, right. So it was like, so they looked at me in a sour grimace, but it's kind of like just remembering like those kind of moments when you're like, oh, there was one thing that was factual and then it was counterfactual, like just a few minutes after.
That's a wait for the moment kind of bit. That's a haha. That's a I got you moment.
Yeah, but like even for those movies themselves, like like you have like something that is as like set in place as a constant setting or a house. It's like, oh, where'd that door come from?
Right.
And then you're realizing like even though like a door might move or like in its positioning, like it's like that's a continuity error, like
right.
And I find that humorous to me because like they're running through different doors all the time. Right. And like I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it without it being situational, right? But like I don't know.
I guess what's funny. You also remind me of. We've definitely adopted this bit, and this is something you've probably seen everywhere. Audience, I very rarely gesture at the camera, but me and my brother created, or we named our bit "That One Guy" bit, and I'll explain this.
Okay,
and you've been there everywhere, but it's essentially
heard it plenty of times.
One person who either intentionally or unintentionally has very good comedic timing in a crowd. Right. Or just says something either not off color, but just like different from the rest of the crowd. And it's very easy to do and very easy to explain.
Not even necessarily off color. It could be something that everyone's thinking.
That's what I mean.
Right. It's just, it's that one shout out in the background. You know, so
Okay.
it's like there was one that you did in the theater. Actually,
Yeah,
it
there's
was actually kind of hilarious.
all right, I'll give one example and then I'll do the theater thing to follow up.
Okay.
So one example is, and you can do it all the time. No one ever says "good job" as they cheer. Like if you're doing an audience, everyone goes "woo" or "yeah," but no one's in the audience going "good job," "way to go," and that's what we're all saying. Like we all applaud,
Right.
and we're really just cheering on the performers.
But no one says.
No one
good
says
job.
good job.
Okay.
That's that one guy. Another good example is I remember I was in the theater. I forgot it was
The trailer for Dunkirk or
yes,
something like
for
that.
Dunkirk was playing, and I'm not
Okay.
sure if you guys remember the trailer for Dunkirk. I think it was one of the first movie premiere trailers. If you guys want to look it up on YouTube, which we are also on very soon.
Yep,
Just like, share, and subscribe.
That's right. That's
gotta
right.
get better at that.
Right here.
But if you do that, the Dunkirk trailer has a very intense opening,
Right.
and the musicality of it's is very in depth. A lot of bass. You see people running on the beach, and then they have this one scene where like you see all these soldiers on the boats, and they hint at they're on the boats, and the World War II planes, World War I, the planes are. Flying over them, dropping bombs,
Right.
and they have
Oh,
this
jeez.
one last shot of these two guys like huddling down just with their helmets
Right,
into
right.
the boats because they have no defense. They're just out in the order.
Wow.
And then it cuts to black and it goes Dunkirk. And I just remember going, "Oi, boy, missed!" And I got the whole crowd theater to
Everyone
actually
started
laugh.
laughing.
Oh, my
I was like,
Lord.
But like it's because it's really just again that one. See, good comedic timing.
I see. I got you.
One
Well,
minute.
that timing is they say it's very important in comedy. You know how things happen. And that being said, you know, what's your thought on the very first person to say, "I want to do something funny"? Because there had to be some time in history where someone somewhere deliberately
That's such.
decided to be funny.
You mean the first comedian? Like
The
that's such a
first
that's a
stand-up
premise. That's a
comedian.
good.
The
Well,
premise.
maybe not stand-up comedian, but in other words,
Jester.
the first intentional funny act.
There's
like-
got to be
Like how do you imagine that? You know, I'm thinking that, you know, if we go through like the time of, I would imagine the caveman or something.
100% slapstick all the way through.
that's good.
You think so?
Yeah, see, I saw it a second.
You think
Second
so?
he said it, yeah.
You think the slapstick was the first?
100%. It was the first thing.
Definitely a first caveman of a giant club going, look a whole bunch of other cavemen and go, and then everyone just laughs.
100%.
Definitely.
All right, it's a
Gotta
slapstick.
be.
Okay,
Maybe.
but
What about
you know,
Like a
I'm not-
pratfall meant death. Like you're like, oh, I tripped before being attacked by a saber tooth. Then that's the end of you.
Yeah, you know, I guess it would have to be slapstick, you know, of some sort. Maybe it was more violent, you know. You know, maybe someone like, you know, let loose a dog and someone running away from their wild dog and people seeing him run away, you know, although it was before the old, Benny, was it Benny Hill? You know, but they would see them run away, and maybe that. But you know, it's just I think there must be a moment where someone appreciated like that's going to be the first laugh. Or,
Someone
you know,
made the very first wheel, presented it to a crowd, and it rolled away downhill.
yeah, right, something like that. You know, but anyway, I mean, it's just something, you know, just something
The
to think
first
about.
joke, or like having a whole TV series or a movie or something about like the first comedian is actually really good. That's a very silly premise.
Like, how do you present that to a crowd that doesn't know what like general humor and comedic timing would be? That'd be very interesting.
All right. Well, okay. and That being said, what is the biggest laugh? Now, I like to think that everybody remembers that time in their lives where whatever their laugh was, that you will never forget it. It made you roll. You know, something you go back to in your time. You know, maybe whatever your laugh was. It was hilarious. You know, you can't catch your breath. Kind of. Do you guys have any stories about what your first most hilarious laugh?
I have one that I think I share with you, but I will say this is not like a particular joke, but I think we just had a good time and then we started laughing. There's a game on the GameCube system that was
Super
called
Monkey Ball.
Super Monkey Ball.
Yep.
And it's the premise of the game itself is actually very ridiculous. It's just like monkeys that are in like plastic balls and like and it's very. If you ever heard the game Mario Party is, there's a party game, so you can either race with them, you can like do small like puzzle platformers with them. It's a very fun game, but also it's very ridiculous because it's just a monkey, you know, and it's physics based. So like if you start moving really really fast, at some point the monkey won't be able to like run in the ball anymore. It just kind of hits the ball and just starts
rolls,
kind of spinning, and it's enough about chaos. And me and Trey started playing that, and I remember I forgot what it was, but we were doing a race, and I think in this game. All the characters start hitting each other. So there's a whole bunch of monkeys just in balls. Right. And for some reason, I think it's because me and him are having a good time. I think about Blade. Like, for some reason, it was just became the funniest thing to us. Wow. It was absolutely hilarious. And we were laughing for like 20 minutes.
Because the race doesn't end until everyone crosses the finish line, at least the first three, right? And I believe, like, just because it was just the two of us playing, right? It was just us trying to get through a track. Right, and honestly, just constantly falling off the track itself. There are no borders on the track at all, and obviously, because you're in Sears, right, you're going one way or the other depending on the hill that they provide for you on the track. So as you're like going at 103 miles an hour, the monkey's like adhered to the wall because of the velocity he's just spinning in. Right, and you're trying to control a sharp turn. Right, you just see it fly off or just ramp off. It
just continue
like constantly.
I'll tell you one thing I do remember. I remember when you guys were little, particularly it was Lexington. I can't remember the name of the game, but my sons had developed an acumen of doing the video games. And there was some video game that Lexington had started developing his, I don't want to say sarcasm, but he was really good at knocking people off of this cliff. There was some kind of fighting game, and he would play adults, and it was like a fighting game, and he would knock people who were trying really hard to beat him, and he would just say, knock him off, and you'd see the character die, and Lexi would say, "Oh man, good try, that was good," and he would just do those things to just make the person get a little
Sounds like Soul Calibur.
It's whatever it was.
Oh,
it was
I think it was Soul Calibur. I think I might remember this.
But it was like you'd play it, and the person's there trying their best to do battle with you, and they're sweating, they're hard, and they're older than them, and they're. And he'll laugh, and I think you would laugh, not so at things that shouldn't be laughed at while a person is struggling trying to win the game. He go, look how he fell, or he talk about the scenery, and the person's mad.
I don't think I was. I hope I wasn't trying to be a jerk.
No, I think you were introducing not so much jerkdom, but it was like this kid can't be beat.
That's funny.
He's very, very.
I do remember. I think. I may remember this because you didn't watch me play a lot of games. I think so. I think this had to be at one time we were at
you were little,
Nana's place, which I think I semi remember because that was the only time I think I brought Soul Calibur only a handful of times.
Yeah, but anyway, it was I remember that. I didn't know it was, but now I know people at home trying to talk about your memories of your best laugh. It's so hard to translate.
It is
because it's like people at home are going, I don't see what's funny about that, But when you have something that's inside that comes to your memory. I think it combines not only just what was funny, but it's the smells and what was happening around you, the atmosphere, your age or whatever. Because I remember I have a good friend who's actually very big on the internet, and his name is Ralph Stowe. I can say his name. And he does a program where he utilizes jazz music to bring attention to cancer. And he and I back in our college days, we would take the bus to school, and we created a character. And all I have to say, his name was Jimmy Brown. Now, Jimmy Brown, I mean, it's very, very difficult to explain, was James Brown, in our mind, his nephew, who had way more energy than James Brown. And we'd sit on the back of a bus, and we started talking about him, and somewhere along the way, we thought about him taking a high school yearbook picture, but because he's so busy moving around, all you can see is his feet in the air and his high school
floating,
people just because he's just dancing and moving and just at such a rate of speed like the Flash. We to this day, when we'll talk about Jimmy Brown, someone that doesn't exist, and it's just internal. It's our connection with one another. Yeah. And it is so hilarious just because we'll say, if Ralph, I guarantee you, if you're watching this episode right now, you're laughing as we speak. Hey, here's to good laughter and good humor,
I
know.
just remembered, and there's one that we all share. Because I think first off, me and Trey, we've had a lot of things when we made our stories. We call tangents a lot. We were like get distracted, and we had a lot of moments like that. But one that we all share that I think we referenced maybe once on the show before was, I think this was the first time we did it, but it may have been a different thing. But we got, I don't think we had internet at the time, or I don't think we had cable at that time, or we were just watching shows. But we got old cartoon shows from the library. Yeah, we got old cartoon shows from the library, and one of the ones I remember the most is we had gotten
the A and B tracks.
The A and B tracks.
The A and B tracks.
We got a Speed Racer DVD.
Okay, well, explain the A and B for young people or people who have never utilized it on there.
Yeah, I guess it's not as common anymore. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like for DVD players, I mean, I don't know if all of them have them, but there used to be a button called like the A and B loop, right? You hit it once for a scene that you like, and then you hit it again for the ending of that scene, right? And then it will just replay that scene over and over and over again, all right? There was, just because of the theatrics of the old time Speed Racer show,
Okay.
all right?
I'd like to say classic Speed Racer.
My apologies.
Okay,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
go ahead.
I just
go
want to
on,
make
go
sure
on,
because
go
there
ahead.
has been other reiterations. of it as
Indeed.
well.
I just wanted to,
Right, okay,
get
fantastic.
going.
Good
Go
cover,
ahead.
good
Thank
cover.
you. Go ahead.
For Mock Go Go Go, the English dub.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a scene where a father was so adamantly against riding vehicles in any way, to the point where he was chasing down vehicles on his horse.
Right,
He
it was that.
hated
Yeah, it
the
was.
fact that his daughter was even affiliated with Speed Racer, even though Speed Racer was the key to her winning the farm or whatever the end plot was, right? Win this race to save my daughter from whatever terminal illness. I don't know what it was. But like, at the point where her trying to hide the fact that she was spending time with Speed Racer, right? She was like, "Oh no, I have never been around," and like immediately just cut to liar, and it was like him full on bullwhip on horse, right? Just a freeze frame of him zoomed in, red background, full anger, about to beat down this animated child, and it was like it wasn't the fact that he was about. It was the fact that he.
It was so
came
intense.
out-
It
It
was-
was so
it was,
intense
right.
for something so asinine.
And
It's like
how-
everyone was in vehicles in that day.
Yeah, and we replayed that liar,
Over
liar,
and over.
liar.
It only
liar.
got funnier.
And it was just so stupid.
Yes, we did the same thing for an Aquaman
yeah?
as well
Yeah, we
too.
did
It's
a
like the
lot.
fact that he had friends with, like, he had an accomplice that was a SEAL, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't even know what it was
It
that
was
we A-B'd for
there was
that
one that was, I'm not sure if we A-B'd it, but the Aquaman thing I remember because it felt very Flintstones, and like
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was like Atlantis was going down, or maybe it was a submarine, but it was like it was a relatively large structure that would need a good amount of construction
Right,
to
right.
be fixed. And like I think it was a submarine. And the way Aquaman decided to save these people who are in this submarine was he like summoned a giant turtle that just plugged the hole that was like that was making
Right.
and that was the end of the episode.
Wow.
And it was very much like if that turtle leaves, they're gone. Like you can't. And I just remember thinking the turtle must be like it's a living.
I want to give this note to parents that before you share your old television shows that you really love, review it before you show it to your kids, because it may be cornier than you think. Because I remember showing these guys this is a 1960s Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm
He
not
couldn't
mistaken,
be
it was
above-
a Filmation.
I believe so.
But anyway, they
Something like that.
I remember as a kid him having the ability to take this, he roll his hands like this, and he would throw this ball of water
Underwater.
Underwater. He would
Underwater
throw water
pressure.
underwater, but because he's Aquaman, he
Yeah,
can
he
do
can do
this,
it.
and it would hit people. And I remember as a kid it being like an explosion, and then watching it with my sons. I'm like, watch, he's gonna make the book, and it goes. It's like it is such a lackluster. It was like I don't remember it this way, and it was like it did not. And I said, "Wow, I guess a ball of water underwater might not be as dangerous as one might think."
Wouldn't be the most effective.
It
thing.
wouldn't be. It couldn't be.
I think one last honorable mention on the A to B track. I want to see if you guys remember this, but it was a Fat Albert bit. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
A-B
yeah,
this,
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Big Ben's
Barbecue.
barbecue.
Right,
Right.
yeah,
For
right,
some reason, it was just a
It was
bit.
the delay on the buh.
It was
just
the delay on
like,
the buh.
we weren't even expecting it after
Right.
like a whole 3 seconds, but the fact remained that it happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's like after like saying Big Beast Barbecue.
I think Big Ben, right?
But
Big Ben?
whatever it was, you know. Let me ask you, how much more time we have? I don't want to make
About
sure.
5 minutes.
About
5
5
minutes.
minutes. Okay.
Oh, that's
Well,
more
listen, I don't want to go over time, but to put it in context, this used to be a show called Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids,
Mhm.
and they had one character, I believe it was Mushmouth,
Mm.
who
Yeah.
when he spoke, he always put a B at the end of his words. So especially when he had words that ended with B's, and so. Hey, ba you be doobie. I mean, it was it's a bit that Bill Cosby had built, and it's great, great, a lot of fun.
They've
So
probably outgrown that bit in the common days, but we understand why it happened.
no, but it was hilarious. So he's reading this sign that has all these B's in it because he's scared of a police officer that says, hey, you kids, you know, they would play hooky. He's like, hey, you kids, in a good place to eat around here, and they would group together. And that's a story within it. So they would group together, and they were scared, and so he says he just in terror he decides to look at a random sign, and they had all the B's in it. Barbecue.
Buh. I don't know why that hits.
and we put that on the A&B, and we just
hilarious.
left.
Going on. I just laugh.
I know these are a lot of inside
Yeah.
jokes that you guys are like,
Yeah,
what in
this
the
is a
world?
really hard episode because normally I believe our rule 1 is to never explain a joke, and
Here we
doing
are
it.
explaining
Here's,
all
like,
the
every
jokes.
single one.
I wanted the audience to get a chance to understand why we're all so stupid. I think no, I'm joking. I'm joking. But like our brand, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, because I think you said it best, Trey. What I consider my brand of humor is like very vaudeville-ish. Not big and grand, but just a very specific kind of silly. And in the last couple minutes, I'll explain this. I remember I forgot what it was. I was doing a farmer's market because every once in a while I would freelance and do stuff like that. And I think I made a Bugs Bunny joke at some point. It wasn't like a what's up thing. It was a quick reference, but I made a Bugs Bunny joke. And there were two other women we were selling stuff to that just didn't get the joke. And I was like surprised because it's so big. Bugs Bunny is so much a part of it. And I'm like, it is an older show. I forget that Looney Tunes is an older show. So at first I was surprised, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, they technically shouldn't get this, you know. But sometimes it's funny when people don't get your jokes. I don't know why.
Oh, no, I love that. I love that. I like people. I love leaving
what?
people with the face like, "What are you?"
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
look for it. You're just like,
it's
oh.
more successful to me.
It is
You
more
look-
successful.
It is. It's better when you're like, you have no idea what they're talking about. You're like, yep, exactly.
Like I'll give you one because we did this when we were watching the Aquaman cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I think we brought up the question of because there was a time where in the Aquaman in the cartoon, he got knocked out.
He was on water.
Oh,
he was
right.
on land for about a minute. He couldn't be on land for more than a
Right,
minute.
but no, it was something. But he was fighting underwater.
Yeah.
And he got knocked out underwater, which brought the question: how do you revive Aquaman if he's underwater and knocked out?
Because he can't do the
You
bucket.
can't throw a bucket of water over.
Right.
You know?
I remember that.
You
That
know,
was so silly.
so we started. That's what you got here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we have here. So please like, subscribe, share, and if you come up with a funny moment, it may only be funny to you,
Yeah.
but whatever brings you joy, whatever those moments where you're going through something and you remember that time when you spent with your cousin, your aunt, your brother, your sister, picnic or whatever it is that makes you laugh. 3 cheers for humor because it can bring you out of some bad thoughts and stuff like that. So
It's very healing. And comment your inside jokes. And again, if it has no context, that's even better. Just
Even
comment
better.
your inside
Even
jokes
better. We
so
appreciate
you don't
it.
feel alone. This is Various Fields. I'm Lex.
I'm Hazen Fields II.
And I'm Trey. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Love you
All right.
guys.
Love you all.
Love